The sun had barely dipped below the horizon when I returned home, my anticipation of a warm family reunion hanging in the air. Little did I know, the comfortable facade of our seemingly idyllic life was about to crumble. As I pushed open the front door, the eerie silence struck me, a stark contrast to the usual laughter that echoed through our home. "Samantha," I called, my voice tinged with an uneasy apprehension. There was no response. Panic bubbled within me as I rushed through the house, searching every room, every corner. My heart hammered in my chest as I flung open the door to the storage room, a room seldom visited. There, in the dim light, I found my daughter, wide-eyed and tear-streaked, her trembling form huddled on the cold floor. "Mommy," she whispered, as if unsure whether my presence was real. "What happened, sweetheart?" I knelt beside her, gathering her fragile frame into my arms. Her words tumbled out, revealing a horrifying truth. My husband had left her alone. "A business trip," he said. But as she described the fear of being abandoned in the dark, the betrayal became painfully clear. I felt a surge of anger and disbelief. How could he do this to our own flesh and blood? My daughter clung to me, seeking solace in the midst of the storm that had suddenly engulfed our lives. Later that evening, as I confronted my husband, his explanations unraveled like a poorly spun yarn. "Now that the annoyance is out of the picture, we can unwind and enjoy ourselves," he murmured, his words a twisted dagger in my heart. "Fooling around with our niece while leaving our daughter in distress. What kind of enjoyment is that?" The venom in my voice surprised even me, but I couldn't hold back the torrent of emotions. His eyes darted away, unable to meet my gaze. "I had to go on the trip, sure. It was important business," he stammered, attempting to justify the unjustifiable. "Important business or not, you left our child alone, scared and abandoned." "There's no justification for that," I retorted, the weight of betrayal pressing down on me. The revelation of his callous actions marked the beginning of a turbulent journey, one that would force me to question everything I thought I knew about the man I had called my husband. In the wake of the unsettling revelation, the echoes of neglect resounded through our once harmonious home. The atmosphere became charged with an unspoken tension, as if the walls themselves harbored the anguish of a child pushed to the fringes. "Samantha, sweetheart, is everything okay?" I tentatively approached my daughter, her eyes reflecting a depth of sadness beyond her tender years. Her response, a hesitant nod, spoke volumes, unraveling a tale of abandonment that had taken root in her innocent heart. "Why did Daddy leave me, Mommy?" Her voice quivered with a mix of confusion and hurt. I struggled to find words that could stitch together the fragments of her shattered trust. "He had to go on a trip, honey, but he should never have left you alone. Mommy is here now, and we'll make sure you're safe," I assured her, fighting back my own tears. As days passed, the shadows of neglect loomed larger. My husband's favoritism towards our niece, Lily, became painfully apparent. Samantha's once bright eyes dulled as she witnessed her father's attention shift away from her, replaced by an affectionate focus on Lily. One evening as Lily played in the living room, I couldn't ignore the palpable void between father and daughter. "John, Samantha needs you. She's feeling left out," I ventured, hoping my words would rekindle the bond that seemed to be slipping away. "Can't you see I'm spending time with Lily? It's not like Samantha's alone. She has you," he dismissed, his tone revealing a callous indifference that cut through my attempt at reconciliation. "But she needs her father, John. You promised to be there for her," I pleaded, the weight of disappointment heavy in my voice. His response was a dismissive shrug, a gesture that spoke louder than words. The peculiar behavior Samantha had exhibited earlier, the clinginess, the desperate pleas not to be left alone, they were now poignant signs of a daughter yearning for the warmth of a father's love. As I tucked Samantha into bed that night, she clung to me, her innocent eyes reflecting a sense of abandonment that no child should endure. "Mommy, why doesn't Daddy love me anymore?" Her question echoed in the silence, a poignant reminder of a fractured family torn by neglect. The web of deceit that ensnared our family tightened with each passing revelation. The unsettling truth exposed not only the neglect, but also the calculated manipulation that had woven itself into the fabric of our lives. As I sought answers, a confrontational conversation with my husband became inevitable. "John, why did you lie to me about the trip?" Samantha was left alone, terrified in that storage room. I demanded, my voice tinged with a mix of anger and disbelief. His eyes darted away, a feeble attempt to evade the weight of his actions. I had to create an opportunity to spend time with Lily. She needed me, and I thought it was the right thing to do, he muttered, his words dripping with a twisted sense of justification. "You manipulated everyone, including Lily, just to satisfy your own desires. This is beyond selfish, John," I retorted, the realization of the depth of his deception fueling my resolve to untangle the web he had spun. The truth unfolded in fragments, each piece more unsettling than the last. Threats and lies became tools in his hands as he controlled our niece, Lily, with calculated precision. "If you don't do as I say, I'll tell your mom everything, and you'll be the one in trouble," he warned Lily, twisting her innocence into a shield for his own misdeeds. The deceit didn't end there. My husband had orchestrated a trip with Lily, leaving Samantha behind as a mere afterthought. "Lily needs some fun, and Samantha will be fine. I thought it would be a good idea," he explained, oblivious to the chaos he had unleashed. The realization hit me like a tidal wave. His actions weren't just negligent, they were malicious. The deceptive photos he sent me, presenting a facade of a happy family on a trip, were nothing but a cruel charade. "You risk our daughter's well-being for your own satisfaction. What kind of person does that?" I seethed, the anger coursing through me. In the midst of the revelations, my husband's attempts to defend his actions were feeble at best. The web of deceit was laid bare, and the shattered trust echoed through the hollow spaces of our unraveling family. The unraveling truth cast a somber pall over our lives, leaving us grappling with the aftermath of my husband's deceit. Armed with evidence and a heart heavy with betrayal, I confronted him with the divorce papers in hand. "John, I can't fathom how you thought leaving Samantha alone was acceptable. You shatter our family," I declared, my voice a mixture of anger and sorrow. He looked at the divorce papers, realization slowly dawning on him. "Sure, it wasn't supposed to be like this. I thought I was doing what was best for everyone," he stammered, attempting to salvage a semblance of control. "What was best? Leaving our daughter alone in a storage room, taking Lily on a trip under false pretenses. There's no justification for your actions, John," I asserted, my resolve unwavering. As I signed the divorce papers, the weight of the decision settled over me like a heavy cloak. Legal action became a necessity to protect Samantha from any future harm. A restraining order was sought, a shield against the potential repercussions of his recklessness. The legal proceedings unfolded like a relentless tide, carrying with it the echoes of a shattered trust. John's attempts to explain himself were feeble, his remorse overshadowed by the gravity of his actions. "I never meant to hurt Samantha. I just wanted to make things right," he pleaded, but his words fell on deaf ears. The divorce proceedings marked the definitive end of a chapter, severing ties that once bound us in love and trust. I gathered our belongings, taking Samantha in my arms, and left the house, leaving behind the wreckage of a family torn apart. In the midst of the legal chaos, Lily's mother, my sister-in-law, became a vital ally. "Sure, I had no idea about any of this. I'm so sorry," she confessed, her eyes reflecting genuine remorse for her unwitting role in the unfolding tragedy. As we left, the house felt emptier than ever, the silence punctuated by the echoes of betrayal. Legal measures were in place, but the emotional scars would linger, a constant reminder of a chapter that ended in heartbreak. The fallout from the shattered innocence of our family echoed through our lives, leaving behind a trail of emotional debris that demanded attention. Samantha, once a beacon of pure innocence, now grappled with the harsh reality of betrayal. "Mama, why did Daddy leave us? Doesn't he love me anymore?" Samantha's tearful question pierced through the air, a heartbreaking plea for answers that I struggled to provide. "He made some very wrong choices, sweetheart. It's not your fault, and it doesn't mean he doesn't love you. Sometimes adults make mistakes that hurt others," I explained, my words a feeble attempt to shield her from the weight of our shattered family. The emotional toll was not lost on Lily either. As she joined us for a quiet dinner, her eyes betrayed a mixture of guilt and confusion. "I'm sorry, Aunt Sher. I didn't know he was going to do something like that," she whispered, her voice barely audible. I reached out to her, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Lily, none of this is your fault. You were as deceived as the rest of us. We need to support each other through this," I reassured her, recognizing that innocence wasn't confined to age. As the days unfolded, Samantha's nightmares bore witness to the depth of her emotional trauma. "I don't want Daddy to come back. I'm scared," she admitted one night, her vulnerability a stark contrast to the resilient spirit she once embodied. In response, I held her close, comforting her as best as I could. "You're safe now, sweetheart. Mama is here, and I'll do everything to protect you," I promised, the weight of maternal responsibility settling over me like a protective cloak. Meanwhile, the attempts at reconciliation from my estranged husband painted the emotional landscape with shades of fear. His words carried a semblance of remorse, but Samantha's trembling at the mere mention of him made it clear that trust had been irrevocably shattered. "You can't just barge back into our lives after what you've done. Samantha needs time to heal, and so do I asserted during one of our strained conversations, the lines of communication strained by the enormity of his betrayal. The chapter of shattered innocence unfolded with each passing day, demanding resilience and strength from both mother and daughter. The wounds were deep, but the journey toward healing had only just begun. In the refuge of my childhood home, we sought solace, surrounded by the familiar embrace of family. The wounds of betrayal were raw, but within those walls, there was an unspoken understanding that we would weather this storm together. "Samantha, sweetheart, Grandma and Grandpa are here for you. You're safe here," my mother assured her, her gentle voice a soothing balm to the wounds of innocence lost. Lily, too, found comfort in the support of family. "I never thought Uncle John would do something like that. I feel so sorry for what happened," she confessed, her eyes reflecting the guilt that weighed on her young shoulders. My father, a pillar of strength, stepped in. "Lily, you're not to blame for your uncle's actions. What matters now is that we support each other and ensure Samantha heals from this," he reassured her, a steady voice in the turbulent aftermath. Amidst the emotional tumult, discussions about relocation and changes in Samantha's schooling took precedence. Lily's mother, my sister-in-law, joined the conversation, expressing gratitude for the support extended to them during this trying time. "I'm considering moving Lily to a different school, sure. It might be the best for her," my sister-in-law suggested, her eyes mirroring the weight of the decisions forced upon us. While the logistics of relocation were discussed, Samantha's resilience became evident. "Mommy, will Lily be okay? I don't want her to be sad because of me," she confessed one evening, her concern for her cousin reflecting a maturity beyond her years. I crouched down to her eye level, assuring her, "Sweetheart, we're all here for each other. We'll get through this together, and Lily will understand that you're not to blame for any of this." As the days passed, the newfound routine of familial support brought a semblance of normalcy. Samantha's laughter, once silenced by betrayal, began to echo through the hallways, and the weight of uncertainty gradually lifted from her small shoulders. Yet amidst the solace, the specter of legal proceedings loomed. "Sure, we need to ensure John stays away. The restraining order is crucial for Samantha's safety," my father advised, acknowledging the necessity of legal protection. The chapter of seeking solace became a haven in the storm, a temporary respite to mend the wounds inflicted by deceit. The healing journey continued, with family at the helm, navigating the uncertain waters of rebuilding shattered lives. The time had come to confront the past, to face the man who had shattered our family. Legal proceedings loomed, and the emotional weight of our shared history pressed upon us as we prepared for the courtroom battle that would determine the course of our futures. "Samantha, you don't have to worry. Mommy and Grandpa will be with you every step of the way," my father reassured her, his voice a steady anchor in the tumultuous sea of uncertainty. As we approached the courthouse, the the air crackled with tension. Samantha clutched my hand, her eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and fear. "What's going to happen, Mommy?" she asked, seeking reassurance. "We're here to make sure Daddy can't hurt us anymore, sweetheart. Everything will be okay," I replied, my attempt to shield her from the impending confrontation laced with a fragile optimism. Inside the courtroom, the gravity of the situation bore down on us. My estranged husband, once a pillar of our family, now sat on the opposite side, the tension in the room palpable. "Your Honor, we're seeking a permanent restraining order to ensure the safety of my client and her daughter," our attorney asserted, the words resonating through the hushed courtroom. My husband's lawyer countered, attempting to paint a picture of remorse and a desire for reconciliation. "Your Honor, my client acknowledges his mistakes. He's willing to undergo counseling to rebuild the family he lost." The judge listened, a stern expression etched on their face. "Ms. Last Name, how do you respond to these offers of reconciliation?" the judge inquired, their gaze fixed on me. With conviction, I replied, "Your Honor, his actions were not mistakes. They were calculated betrayals that endangered our daughter. A restraining order is necessary for our safety." The judge, after deliberation, granted the restraining order, sealing the courtroom chapter with a sense of justice. Samantha, although shielded from the details, understood that this legal step marked a crucial victory in our battle for security. As we left the courthouse, Samantha looked up at me. "Does this mean Daddy can't hurt us anymore?" she questioned, her eyes searching for reassurance. "Yes, sweetheart. The judge made sure Daddy can't come near us. We're safe now," I affirmed, the weight of the restraining order offering a fragile sense of security. Confronting the past was an emotional battlefield, but the legal victory offered a glimmer of closure. The chapter of courtroom confrontation was etched into our shared history, a testament to our resilience in the face of betrayal. In the aftermath of legal battles and emotional upheaval, the chapter of a new beginning unfolded. We stood at the threshold of rebuilding our lives, the scars of betrayal slowly healing, and the promise of a brighter future beckoning us forward. "Samantha, we're starting a new chapter, sweetheart. It's time to leave the pain behind and embrace the happiness that awaits us," I whispered, my words a mantra of hope as we packed our belongings to leave the shelter of my childhood home. As we settled into our new living arrangement, the echoes of the past gradually faded. Samantha, resilient and remarkably strong, adapted to the changes with a courage that belied her tender age. "Mommy, do you think we'll be happy here?" Samantha asked, her eyes reflecting a mix of hope and trepidation. "I believe so, sweetheart. We have each other, and that's the most important thing. We'll create new memories and fill our home with love," I reassured her, determined to mold a future untarnished by the shadows of betrayal. Lily, having found stability in a new school, became a constant presence in our lives. "Aunt Sure, I'm sorry for everything that happened. I just want things to be normal again," she confessed, her sincerity a bridge towards rebuilding the fractured bonds of family. "It's not your fault, Lily. We're all moving forward together, and that's what matters," I assured her, grateful for the shared journey of healing. In the midst of our new beginning, the support of friends and extended family played a pivotal role. "Sure, you're not alone in this. We're here for you," for Samantha, my mother affirmed, her unwavering support a cornerstone in our rebuilding process. The process of co-parenting with my estranged husband, now legally restrained, presented its challenges. "Sure, I want to be a part of Samantha's life. Can we find a way to make this work?" he pleaded during one of our carefully monitored interactions. His words, though tinged with remorse, carried the weight of past betrayals. "John, our focus should be on Samantha's well-being. We'll navigate this cautiously, with her best interests at heart," I asserted, mindful of the delicate balance between co-parenting and safeguarding my daughter. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the wounds of the past began to fade, replaced by the promise of a new beginning. Samantha's laughter echoed through our home, a testament to the resilience of innocence reclaimed. The chapter of a new beginning wasn't without its challenges, but within its pages, we found the strength to turn the page on a painful past and embrace the unwritten chapters of a future filled with hope and healing.